Hey everyone, it's Robin Riley for Bello's Designs. Welcome to my Talk Crafty to Me video that I am calling Balloon Flowers. Today I'd like to show you how you can create these flowers with just a few simple supplies. Before we get started on that supply list though, let me invite you to join us in our Facebook groups. We have two of them, the Bello's Design Lounge, and that's the page where we showcase all of our Lavinia products and creations. The other page is called Bello's Design a la carte, and that's where we have showcased so many of the other products that Patty currently has in her shop. Join us on our other social media platforms such as Instagram, Pinterest, and TikTok. You can find us there by searching the hashtag Bello's Designs. And when you're on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to our channel. Hit that subscribe button and also hit that little bell so that you are notified when new videos are posted. Okay, let's get started on the supplies that will be needed to create flowers such as these and a background. Now today I'm not actually creating the entire card. I just want to show you the process of creating the flowers. Let's look at the supplies that will be needed. First, you're going to need a balloon, and it really does not matter the size of balloon. For me, because of my fingers and the arthritis, it's easier if the balloon is a tad bit larger. You will need some type of a marble. I have tried round marbles, the flat back gemstones that kind of are like marbles, and I've even tried rocks from my garden, and all three work. You will also need a small rubber band, and if you order from Patty, you'll recognize that little teal rubber band, perfect size for this technique. You will need some acrylic paints. I like to use colors that I have different shades of. So I have a medium shade and a lighter shade of this teal along with the yellow. Again, you are going to choose what you have. I'm even going to demonstrate how you can simply use Distress Oxide inks to get a really nice result. This is the Worn Lipstick color and Spiced Marmalade. You will need water for cleanup and some paper towels or whatever you like to clean your hands off with. A dotting tool, which is a stylus. Okay, I happen to have one that has two different size balls on the end. I'll show you how to use this in a little bit. The paper that I'm using today is a 300 GSM card that measures 4 1/4 inch by 5 3/4 inch. Being that we're using acrylic paint along with the distressed oxides that will have water added to them, you need a paper that is going to withstand all of that liquid. And if you have a 300 or more plus GSM, I've used up to 325, you'll get very little warping and it'll be able to hold your water well. The Lavinia paper, the multifarious paper, is also excellent for this. I will be using a watercolor paper that measures 4 inches by 5.5 inches, and I'm only going to be using the smooth side. And as you know, or if you don't know, watercolor paper is typically smoother on one side versus the other, which will have a patterning on it. If you're lucky enough to have hot press watercolor paper, that is really smooth, and it definitely works well for stamping. Okay, let's get started, and I will start with the 300 GSM paper that I am using. And that's the one I'm going to use the acrylic paints on. So that will be first. Now, let's prep the balloon. What you need, like I said, is a nice sized balloon. Something smaller will just be more tedious to work with. And I blow this up a few times just to get it stretched a tad bit because we're going to have to manipulate this. First thing that we need to do is turn this balloon inside out. And this does take some patience and finagling, but it's not as bad as what you think. so press that through. Even a little shaking helps sometimes to move that balloon down into the base. And yes, I have broken many a balloons trying this. There, that popped right through. That was nice. Okay, now what I'll do is I'm taking, and for this demonstration, I'm going to use the round marble. I'm going to press that through the neck, get that down into the base of the marble. Okay, I do like to stretch this a little bit to make sure that my marble is like at the very base. But if it's off-centered a little bit, it's really not that big of a deal because it's still going to work. So flipping it over, I'm going to secure that marble in place with a small rubber band, wrapping it around several times to get a nice strong hold here. Okay, that should do it. Now, I'm going to take this marble and turn that balloon right side out. So by pressing that marble back through the balloon, again, just be patient. A little finagling, a little bit of pulling. The worst thing that can happen is you break your balloon and you have to start over. But just be patient. Again, I shake a little bit. I do whatever it takes to pull this through. A lot of times if I get that outer layer stretched over the marble, I can move the rubber a little bit. It's kind of humid here where I am today, so this is going to make it a little tricky, I think. All right, let me get this stretched through. Again, patience. I'm telling myself that. Usually this pops through rather easily for me, but naturally, as I'm videoing, this is going to take time. All right, here it comes. There we go. All right, so now I have the balloon right side out. Okay, again, give it a little stretch. Got that marble down there, and now just inflate the balloon. And you do not have to inflate it far. As you can see, I got a bit of a pattern on the base, and that's what I'm going for. And again, you don't need this inflated the entire way by any means. Just a little bit of air, tie off your balloon. All right, so see the pattern that you get? There's the petal marks, there's the center of your flower. Now let me show you something here, because I had told you about using a flat marble. All right, that is what I have in this pink balloon. As you can see, there's not much difference. All right, the hole size might be a little bit different, but I still get that patterning. And this balloon, I used a rock from my garden. And again, basically, you see the same thing. So you can use any of those tools. You can use the marble, the flat marble, even a rock from your garden. All right, I'm going to bring in my acrylic paints now. You do not need very much. I just use like a dot of each color. I start with the darker of the two shades that I'm using. I'm going to pounce this side where the opening is into the paint, as you can see. And I'm going to pounce it around my work surface because I don't want a big blob of paint. Okay, we're just going to do the 3 flowers this time, okay? Just so you can see the process. So pressing into the paper and lifting, and voila, there's a nice flower. Again, just repouncing into the paint. I rotate the balloon a little bit so that the petals will appear in different areas. And one more time, press and lift. And then I like to go in with my lighter color, and I don't clean off the balloon. I just add the lighter color, pounce it off, and I add a second layer just for interest onto that flower. So you can see how sweet those turn out. All right, quickly let me demonstrate an overall. Again, I'm not going to change this. Look how fun these backgrounds can be to create. Now I'm just going to randomly press these onto my paper and add both colors all over. Now how fun is that? Just think of all the things you could, all the different colors you could use to create these great backgrounds. Oh, goodness gracious. I love this. I think it is absolutely so much fun to do. I'm going to let this set and dry just for a few minutes while I demonstrate how I use the Distress Oxides. And I'm going to continue to use this same balloon. So I'm just using a baby wipe to clean off as much of that blue as I can, or that teal color. It really doesn't matter if I get it mixed in there, but I do want it a little bit cleaner along with my surface. Clean that off. Watercolor paper. All right, remember I'm working on the smooth side. I'm using the Distress Oxide in Spiced Marmalade, which I am going to press onto my work surface. I'm going to put a generous amount on there, along with the worn lipstick. And I'm going to spritz generously. Now, this is going to give a true watercolor effect. So pouncing into the Distress ink, you're going to see, I'm going to try to do this without making a mess. There's a lot of liquid on there. So I really try to shake off the excess so that I get a clearer image of the flower. Again, very watercolor-like. And here I'm just going to demonstrate an overall background that can be created. I'm allowing this liquid to pool at this time, meaning I'm just going to let those puddles stay. But you can see you don't need to have acrylic paints to do this. You can use what you have on hand. You can use your Distress inks, your Distress Oxides. And this really is a great, I think, a great watercolor effect. Now, naturally, you want to let this dry before you proceed and do anything else to it. I mean, that's just what you have to do with watercolors. And if you feel there's too much pooling, too many puddles, you can just simply take a paper towel and soak up the excess liquid. Again, that's all up to your liking. I love that color combination too, by the way. I think that's really a great combo. All right, let me set that to the side. And I want to show you one more thing on finishing these flowers. I'm going to bring this back in. Now, you would really want to let this dry on its own if you wanted to. It doesn't take that long. But I want to show you how to use the stylus. So I'm going to use the larger end. These tips come in various sizes. Again, I'm going to use the acrylic ink. One little dot is all I need for this. And I'm going to tap my stylus into the paint. Very little on there. And I'm going to add my centers by simply dotting into the center. And I like to use odd numbers when I do my dots. The more you dot with the same amount of paint, the smaller that area will get as far as your dots. Let me show you that. Do I have a piece? Let me grab a piece of paper, a scratch paper, to show you what I mean. So here's a piece of paper, scrap paper, that, let me show you. When you put your acrylic paint on the stylus, the first one will always be the largest, and don't add any more paint, but as you move around your paper, each dot will become smaller, smaller, and smaller. See what I mean? So you can vary the size of those dots in the centers of your flower. You can add more, you can add less. It's, you know what, this is all up to you, what you would like to do. So there you go. That's how easy it is to make these wonderful flowers. Okay, you could bring your, this one's really dry because I had so little acrylic paint left. So I can very quickly demonstrate those dots again for you. I don't hit every single flower, but I hit enough just to add some interest. This is just such a fun technique. I hope you give this one a try. All right, I think you got the idea of how these dots work with the stylus. You know, you can use, if you have wooden skewers that have a flat end, or even a wooden skewer that has a pointed end, you can actually use that to create those dots. I've even used toothpicks, and that works well. A Q-tip, if you remove the cotton, that is a nice flat edge that would work well with making dots. So let me bring back in the cards one more time and show you how I finished those flowers. I just took a fine line marker, I drew in my own stems, and then I did stamp on here with the 3 dancing fairies from Lavinia, LAV 136, and I used the Secrets Are Hidden stamp, LAV 346, to finish that off. And I really wanted not to color any more on this. I wanted the flowers to really be the focal point, so I didn't add any glitter to my fairies. And then on the background stamp, I did mount that on a shiny piece of black to just pop that. And the stamp that I used here comes from Sweet Poppy, and it's called the Sweet Poppy's Daisy Stamp Set, and I used one of the sentiments from there. Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed seeing this fun technique with a balloon, and I sure hope you give it a go and try creating some of these fun flowers on your own. Make sure you post them on our site and tag me so I can see your creations. Hey, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.